Oh, we're live.
Refresh.
Broadcast group it have.
Yes. Let's do that. Oh, it's what you do to me. Oh, it's what you do to me.
Probably should have gone a wee first.
That's why you had the break.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably should have weed first.
Wee! Gonna go for a wee now?
I'm thinking about it.
Oh, you got 3 seconds before I put it in the broadcast group.
What? Go, we'll hold the fort. I'm on it.
Woo!
Right.
Adam is
something they don't know.
Well, guys, something you don't know is that me and Ben are currently working on the next website videos. So we've got a new video ready to go live on Monday. And Ben is, I'm not sure what he's doing down there, to be honest.
What I'm doing right now is just waiting for my computer to encode something. And it's taking a really long time.
Yeah. So Ben is encoding and I am editing next Monday's video for the website. So yes, they will probably go onto YouTube in around 2 or 3 months' time.
I think we're looking to the back end. No, the beginning. What comes after April?
May.
May. We're looking at May.
Yeah. So the websites, videos we're currently editing are going to go live on YouTube in May. Yeah, really, guys. Cat food as well. In case you didn't know, we sell raw cat food now, and it's going really, really well. So yeah, that's over on the website, and we've just reduced the prices on that as well. And Adam's left the door wide open. It's so cold. So Adam was coming back, guys, but he left the door open. He was born in a car.
What you missed out on then is his really smooth walking backwardsness.
He done a moonwalk.
Oh, yeah, it was like watching Neil Armstrong.
Yeah.
is that 2 spacemen put together?
No, Neil Armstrong was the man on the moon,
yeah.
but he didn't do the moonwalk.
Yeah, he did.
No, he
one
just
small step.
One small step.
Yeah, he's walking on the moon.
Right, morning, go, thank you. Morning, my partner and I want a dog. Love Rotties and Staffies, but I'm disabled. Left side affected. Will the Staffy be too much? We do lots of training. Dog needs comes first. Mad to consider. So, couple of things that you need to be aware of is, I don't know how much your disability affects your ability to exercise a dog, but if you can't walk that dog for 1 to 2 hours a day outside and get it consistent exercise outside, no, you'd be better off with a greyhound. Because if you don't exercise these dogs properly, with a Rottweiler, they will become reactive to just about everyone and everything. And with a Staffy, they're likely to become even more dog aggressive than they are prone to becoming. Now, that's not a hate on them. There's a Rottweiler behind me. And there's a Staffy that I lost in 2022, and she's the reason that Southend Dog Training exists. Rottweilers are lesser energy than a Staffy, but they are stronger than a Staffy. So you do have to bear that in mind. It's all about your limitations. If that dog's going out every single day, and you can be assertive and have control over that dog, then yes. If that dog's going to walk all over you, then no. I would recommend something like a greyhound. How do I stop my dog going crazy in the car when he sees another dog? So one thing that can help your dog in the car is putting your dog in a crate while it's in the car. If you crate train at home and then use the same crate in the car or a similar crate in the car, that can help your dog feel more relaxed and secure. Also, make sure your dog's calm before it goes in the car. An over-aroused dog will be way worse. And the other thing you can carry is a pet corrector. It's a can of compressed air, completely harmless. It comes in like the shape of a deodorant can. You can spray it in your face if you want to test it. It's just compressed air. But that can be really good as an interrupter if your dog is barking when you're driving. Just keep it in your cup holder. Spray it enough. Hey folks, how we doing, Anita? Hi from the UK. You are brilliant. My puppy's still not potty trained. Help. Won't toilet outside. It's because you're being, it's basically outlasting you. So let's talk toilet training in puppies, shall we? It's very, very straightforward. Yeah, it's so easy. Doesn't matter whether it's a Chihuahua or whether it's a Great Dane. Toilet training is easy if we have a routine, if we are crate training, if we're not using puppy pads, and we have our dog on a decent diet. So if I'm using puppy pads inside the house, I'm literally telling my puppy it's okay to go to the toilet inside the house. Therefore, my puppy's going to see nothing wrong with going to the toilet inside the house. If I'm not using a crate and forcing regular nap time, I don't have a schedule to adhere to. If the puppy's choosing whenever it sleeps and it can get up whenever it feels like it, then the puppy's going to have accidents all over the house. You're giving it too much freedom, not enough nap time, and it's going to piss all over the house. If your dog is eating food that doesn't agree with it, like Pedigree, Baker's, Royal Canin, Ooka Banuka, Science Plan, Hills, Wainwright's, Chappie, that kind of garbage in a bag, that's going to make your dog need to drink more water. It's therefore going to make your dog need to toilet more frequently. The other thing is, if you take your dog outside in the garden and you give up waiting for it to go to the toilet and you bring your dog back inside and it goes to the toilet, your dog's learning, I'll wait and go inside the house. So you have to wait even longer. So there is a video on our website, guys, the southlanddogtraining.co.uk, or through the Southland Dog Training app, where Myla, my rescue dog, who I got at 6 months old, she's now 2 years, I show you from day one how I train a dog, how I introduce it to the crate, how I introduce nap time, how I introduce it to the children, how I introduce it to a lead, how I taught it to settle down in my house, how I used a clicker to get it to listen to me and to build motivation, how I use toys and food to get that dog to ignore other dogs, how I build food drive and toy drive, how I teach leave it, how I teach everything. Yeah. One of the things, I think it's video 2 or 3 in that training diary, I'm outside in the garden for 45 minutes, first thing in the morning. And I knew if I went inside the house and gave up and she weed inside the house, we've made a sticky rod for her own back now that she's going to think it's okay to toilet in the house. So I had to wait. I think it's about 45 minutes, first thing in the morning. Hadn't even had my coffee yet. And I'm waiting in the garden for this dog to go to the toilet. She went to the toilet. Next day, took her in the garden. Couple of minutes, she goes to the toilet. Now, first thing in the morning, take her in the garden. She goes to the toilet. It's about creating a schedule for that dog, and how to find that schedule and how to perfect it is all on the Southland Dog Training app, which is free to download. Okay. Crate train. Crate training helps with toilet training, helps force nap time, helps teach the dog to be switch off, helps teach the dog to spend a short period of time by itself, because without separation from your dog, when you do have to separate, it can become very, very stressful. Dogs need to sleep for around 16 to 18 hours a day. One of the reasons dogs have got so many behavioural problems are not sleeping enough. How do I get my people reactive dog to allow people in the house without going ballistic? Right, there's also a video for that on the Southland Dog Training app. Make sure you check it out. And you can just download it out from any of your app stores. But the reality is, most people open the door when the dog's going ballistic, and then it only intensifies the behavior. There's a video with me working with a German Shepherd, and there's also videos of 2 Dachshunds that go mental when somebody comes in the house. And the mistake that they were making, where they were sticking the dog in the crate every time the door went, and the dogs were just barking, barking, barking. Then they'd let the dogs out of the crate, and they'd continue to bark, 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 bark. The problem is they hadn't desensitized them to the doorbell or set up any drills. And by putting them in the crate every time the door went, this was making the dog stressed, but then basically abandoned in the crate to basically fend for themselves. They were stuck and they needed help. So I showed them by using leads, by using a clicker, how you get them used to the doorbell, and what the procedure is when somebody knocks on the door. 2 reactive Dachshunds, nice and simple to fix. Breaks it down for you step by step. Go check it out. What's your opinion on raw food? So I've got pretty strong opinions on raw food, so much so that we sell our own raw food. If you bear with me, let me just whiz across here quickly.
Whiz.
Goose? Shall we go with goose? Let's go with goose.
Whiz.
We sell our own raw food. We also have exotic flavours like goose, but we also have your go-to hardy meats, your chickens, your turkeys, your beefs, your lambs. But we also have wild boar and venison and duck and that kind of stuff. Goose, really cool. I don't even know if my dogs have had goose yet. They primarily have chicken. Raw food's the best diet for a dog by a country mile. Diet is so important when it comes to dog training, guys, because diet can massively affect how your dog behaves. For example, if your dog's eating food that doesn't agree with it, it can cause skin problems, ear problems, anal gland problems. It can cause problems with their paws. It can make them uncomfortable. It can make them be irritable, and then they can behave more reactive. Story time. My late Staffy that started Southland Dog Training, she used to get terrible blocked anal glands. Now, I knew when her anal glands were blocked because if a dog went to sniff her backside, she would tell it to piss off. Yet she wouldn't do it any other time. So I would take her to the vets, sort out the anal glands. She'd be fine. A month later, snapping at a dog, anal glands are blocked. We was going round and round and round in a circle. Switched her to raw food, and never had a problem with anal glands again. Therefore, she was never defensive again. She used to also scratch herself under her armpits to the point that she would bleed and lick her paws to the point they were red raw. That all went away with raw food. Now, kibbles, it's ultra processed food. There are good kibbles and bad kibbles, but at the end of the day, it is still processed food. It is still unnecessary ingredients in it, way more ingredients than are necessary. So raw food has the fewest amount of ingredients, and all the ingredients in it are nutritionally beneficial for the dog, and it's all whole foods. We even went to the factory. Now, there are some people that say we're recommending raw food because we sell it. That's bollocks. The reality is, before we were selling our own brand of raw food, I've been feeding raw food to my dogs. I was just using other companies' food. We just decided to sell our own raw food because we believe in it that much. But we've been selling raw food for how long, Ev? 2 years?
2.5 years.
2.5 years. I've been recommending raw food for the best part of a decade. So that's how much I believe in it. It can help your dog with so many problems. If you want to know if your dog's diet is actually any good, guys, pay attention to how much water they drink, and also pay attention to their shit. If you've got like a Jack Russell and their poops are huge, your dog is on a shit diet. If you're picking up your dog's poop and it's squidgy and soft and it smells, your diet is shit. Now, just because it's a good diet or something you see on TV or because it's expensive, it doesn't necessarily mean it is a good diet. The way to know if it's a good diet is very much based on your dog's shit, your dog's skin, your dog's teeth, your dog's bowel movement, everything. Yeah. Raw food, absolutely hands down, best thing you'll ever do for your dog. How to overcome excitement whining to get to my wife whilst I'm holding the lead and walking the dog. Great when I'm on my own, but awful when we're together. So, Gubbo, 1989, best year, by the way. We posted a video recently on our website on this. It's called Spoilt Cockapoo, I think it was. It's a black cockapoo, and anytime the woman goes away and the other half's holding the lead, the dog starts whining, freaking out, shaking uncontrollably. When she comes back, it starts frantically jumping all over her. That video shows you step by step how to fix that problem. But in a nutshell, what needs to happen is, one, you need to practice you walking away and not coming back until the dog is calm. And two, when you come back, you need to control your personal space, because dogs that have anxiety issues will often frantically jump up, almost like panic-like jumping up at you when you come back, almost like you've been gone for years and years and years, and it's the first time they've ever seen you in a long time. You need to walk straight through that dog when it jumps up and start to control your personal space, and you do not acknowledge that dog until it is calm. How to stop puppy biting? Puppy biting is completely natural. Puppies bite pretty much from the moment they are freaking walking. They will be biting their litter mates. They will be sampling the world with their mouth. They will learn corrections through their mother using their mouth and things like that. It's completely normal. We have opposable thumbs. Dogs don't. They often will use their mouth. So puppy biting is completely normal. Now, if we recognise that puppies bite the most at 3 main times, we can completely reduce puppy biting. So that first main time is when that puppy first wakes up. Understand, your young puppy has just had its batteries recharged where it's been napping. So if you think that's the time to sit down and cuddle with it, if the kids think it's time to now sit down and cuddle with it, you will be turned into a chew toy. You have this little bundle of energy that is now re-energized and will bite everything. So you need to be taking it straight into the garden, attached to a puppy lead. You need to wait for it to go to the toilet. You don't say a word to the puppy at this point. Absolute silence. Silence is golden. When the puppy goes to the toilet, then you want to go into a training session with it. Little tug toy, something like that. Some of the puppy's daily food allowance, scattering it around, combining it with some obedience, training that dog. Now, this brings me to point number 2. You have now taken that initial energy, that initial intensity out of the dog through a beneficial training and interactive session with you guys. That is proper bonding, by the way. Now, by taking that initial energy off, you have unintentionally over-aroused this dog a little bit. When a puppy is over-aroused, it will become a walking land shark. So how do we combat this? We've just played, we've got the energy out by unintentionally energizing this puppy. It's now a little bit over aroused. Now we lead it to a little spot on the sofa or a little mat or a little bed, not its crate. Anything other than its crate at this stage. Lead it over there, you give it a bone, you give it a Kong, something to chew on. If it picks it up and walks out of its bed or the spot on the sofa, you simply lead it back onto that spot. If it walks out 10 times, you put it back 10 times. You're conditioning your dog. This is where you eat your bone or have your chew. Then it's going to calm down. It's going to chew. It's going to help with the teething. It's going to help it calm down and decompress. Now, after that, is cuddle time if you want. Understand not all puppies care about cuddles in the beginning. It's normally 10 months to a year they become more affectionate. Some puppies couldn't give a shit about affection in the beginning. Yeah, so you might have to put your knees to one side. But this would be the perfect time to try and have a cuddle session. Nice little massage for the puppy, getting his ears checked, paws checked, but without letting the puppy know you're doing it. Just by having it laying down in your lap or something, massaging it, massaging its ears, but then having a little look, massaging all around its neck and head and shoulders and just checking it over. It's basically you're teaching your dog to use being handled by giving them a massage. So you're working on something without making it a big deal. You do this after the play session, after the decompression session. Then the puppy's going to need a nap for a couple of hours, because it brings me to point number 3. If that puppy is not getting enough nap times, it will become overtired and frustrated and will become a little bastard. So, false nap time. Puppies need to sleep for 16 to 18 hours a day, guys. Yeah, remember that. If we are strict with these points, this is how we reduce puppy biting. Where are we? Let's have a look. 16-month-old Sprocker slip lead seems to catch his throat, so doing a figure of 8 instead. Only on days when he's really pulling, otherwise he's on a harness, doing really well. Is that okay versus just a neck? Right, so a couple of things, Emily. You're making a rod for your own back, and you'll, if you're going from figure of 8 to harness, figure of 8 to harness, there's not enough consistency there. And what you're doing is teaching your dog, without that figure of 8, I can start to pull. You're going to start to see more bad days than good days as a result of doing this. You're also going to see more aversion to the figure of 8 because you're using it as punishment more than anything else, unintentionally. You're not intentionally using it as punishment, but that's how it's going to come across. So cut out the fucking harness right now. You don't need it. Figure of 8, master the lead walking, master being able to hold the lead and a coffee in one hand without spilling it, master being able to walk past dogs, walk through the woods, walk through fields, walk past distractions, then start to transition away from it. If you're going to use something that gives you more control, you have to use it a lot in the beginning and then slowly phase it out. Figure of 8 is absolutely fine. We've got videos. I think we recently uploaded one on the website with a Cocker Spaniel and using a figure of 8. And I also show you how using a figure of 8 can then eventually lead to using a slip lead and having much more success. In that video, it's a tan Cocker Spaniel. We're using a figure of 8 and then we go to a slip lead. Okay, so watch that video. It's on the Southend Dog Training app. How do I calm my 5-month-old Cocker Spaniel? He's perfect on lead walks, goes crazy at the front door. Teach your dog what you want it to do. Okay, so for example, when my door goes at home, and it goes a lot because my wife fucking loves Amazon. Yeah, so every day there is a delivery at our door. Mila barks, runs to her crate. Yeah. And then we'll stay in her crate until I invite her out of her crate. Now, why does Mila bark and then run to her crate? Well, barking is completely normal for a lot of dogs when the doorbell goes to alert somebody there is the presence of somebody else here, and I don't mind that. Now, the reason it's just one bark and then she runs to her crate is because when she used to bark at the door, she had a lead on in the house because she's not trained. I would set up training scenarios. So I'd have my daughter standing outside, my wife standing outside. Yeah, if somebody was coming round, I'd pre-warn them that it's going to take me a while to answer the door because I'm training my dog. So please be patient. And what we did was we set up training drills. We'd ring the doorbell. We'd let Mila go run into the door. I'd pick up her lead. I would then lead her to her crate. I'd give her a handful of treats. I'd shut that crate door and then invite the person in. And then when Mila was calm, I would then let her out the crate. I'd instruct my guests to ignore my dog because I don't want her jumping all over you, and excitement is making her jump up at the minute. So when my dog comes over to you, let her greet you like a dog should. Let her sniff and use her nose. No words, no talking, act as if she's not there. By doing this, she's allowed to do a natural dog behavior, greeting through her nose and investigating the same way dogs should be saying hello to each other. And then once she's finished sniffing, then you can interact with her very, very calmly. She's still on a lead at this point. Why? Because she wasn't a trained dog, and trained dogs are dogs that are off lead. Dogs that are not trained should be on leads, both inside and outside the house. Now the doorbell goes. There is no lead on Myla in the house. I don't have to tell her to go to the crate. She knows exactly what to do because we took the time to teach her. Want to learn how to raise a dog from day one, guys? Go and watch those videos on the website. Members video section, it's category number 3, train a dog from the beginning, and you can see from day one when I picked that dog up and the things that I did with her. Watch your YouTube videos all the time. Thank you for your dedication. Thank you so much, Goons Original. That means a lot. How do you prevent my Dogo Argentino from reacting only to specific dog breeds? In my example, this is a Husky. So your dog doesn't necessarily have a problem with specific dog breeds. You've created a problem out of nothing. So what generally happens is Huskies can be quite a domineering breed. They like to stare and they like to peacock effectively. But if your dog reacts to a Husky for whatever which reason, then you see a Husky again and you go, I wonder if my dog's going to think it's the same Husky, or if my dog's now got an issue with Huskies. Your dog reacts again. So now you go, my dog doesn't like Huskies. When in reality, it doesn't like the energy that you're transferring down that lead every time you see a Husky. The amount of times people have come to the training center. I remember having a lady come and she went, my dog hates staffies. I got a staffy out. I got one of my assistants to bring a staffy out, and I had this lady's German Shepherd, and it didn't react. I said, your dog hasn't got an issue with staffies. You've created an issue with staffies because you see a golden retriever, you're fine. You see a greyhound, you're fine. You see a staffy, you tense up because you've created this problem where there wasn't really a problem. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Dogs can take a disliking to breeds like French bulldogs, pugs, and other brachycephalic dogs, dogs with flat faces, because they don't often look like dogs. A pug doesn't look like a dog. A French bulldog doesn't look like a dog. An English bulldog doesn't look like a dog. It doesn't even look like what an English bulldog originally was. Boston Terriers don't look like dogs. They very rarely have tails. They got flat faces. They're not in proportion with their body. These are fantastic dogs. I'm not hating on the dogs. But if you look at Labradors, Greyhounds, Jack Russells, Spaniels, they're all in proportion with their body. They all have a snout. They all have a tail. They're all as tall as they are freaking long, and they're easy for other dogs to read. A dog can see that and go, oh, well, I can read the body language of that dog. When you've got a snorting, grunting, farting dog with eyes bigger than its head, ears bigger than its head, a tongue hanging out ear, sounding like a Tasmanian devil with no tail, that's all block shaped, that if you was to put it in water would often fucking sink, they become very difficult for dogs to read, and therefore dogs can react to that. But typically a Husky is about making sure. Also, guys, if we have a dog that is selectively reactive, right? What we want to do is make sure that we are holding ourselves accountable. So every dog we see, we have the same mindset. We're going to walk past this dog. We're going to do it silently. We're going to do it with authority, regardless of breed, regardless of what that dog is exhibiting over there. Our job in our head, our mission is just to pass it. Yeah. If you don't have that in your mind, you will fail. So having the right mindset, not trying to talk to your dog. Come on, leave it. No, watch this, watch me. No, leave it. Good boy, because all you're going to do is make your dog react. Shut up. Silence is golden. Remember this. Silence is golden. So you're going to walk past, right? Fast, authority, head up, shoulders up, deep breath. Now, pay attention to your dog, because your dog that is selectively reactive begins doing the same thing with every dog it sees. So if it walks past a golden retriever, it's probably doing this, following it all the way round. If it sees a French bulldog, following it all the way round. If it sees a Husky, following it all the way round. But if it doesn't like the energy of the Husky, boom, it reacts. But your dog is eyeballing every dog it sees. So we want to keep to a 3-second rule. We start to walk, silent, head up, shoulders up, short but relaxed lead. Dog looks. 1, 2, 3. If it's still looking, quick pop on that lead. Nope. And then keep walking. You don't stop and pop. You pop and walk. Yeah. And if you don't know how to do this, any of our full-length videos that we've posted recently on here will show you. Thanks, Stack. You've taught me so much. That's amazing. Why age do you think it's safe or appropriate to start using a slip lead? I have a 5-month-old energetic silver lab. Note you have a lab mix who is great on a long line, but I would like to start a hill work on a short lead. So generally, as a general rule, we would say 5 to 6 months we would start to introduce the slip lead. Yeah. But slip leads, you have to be careful with it because if it's a puppy or a flat face breed, then I say definite professional supervision. But generally, as a rule, if you've got a healthy dog like a lab, then from 5, 6 months you can start to introduce it. But you have to introduce it in a quiet area with no distractions, and you have to teach the dog what it means. You have to know how to put that lead on. You have to know how to take the pressure out of that lead. You need to know what position that lead must sit. Yeah. How to take pressure off, where to hold the lead, etc., etc. Good news for you is there is a step-by-step lead walking video on here featuring a golden doodle that had pulled its owner over, and I'll break it down step by step, so go check that out. Just go to our video section on here. I think it was posted 4 months ago or something like that. But if you type in lead walking basics, it should come up. How do I stop my dogs disappearing every 4 years in November? I think they go to Chicago to vote. Fair enough. Some things just I can't help. I'm good. I'm not that good. Hopefully they're voting for the right people. How do I stop my Samoyed 16-week-old puppy from eating things, particularly rocks, during on a walk? More interaction from you. Yeah. Making sure your dog knows what a solid leave it is. Making sure that you are rewarding check-ins and starting to go places to begin with where there aren't so many fancy distractions around that your dog's going to eat. Master lead walking in non-distracting areas. Plus, where the fuck are you finding rocks anyway? Like, if rocks are a problem, maybe go somewhere else to walk your dog. There's nothing wrong with sticking your dog in the car, going for a little drive, and then going somewhere new. Because we are creatures of habits, often if we have behavioural problems with our dogs, we'll find ourselves going to the same park, walking the same block every single time. And sometimes we have to get in the car and drive somewhere further afield to have a better walk that'll be more beneficial for our dog. I use a harness on my 9-month-old Staffy. Good luck. We did a lot of training when she was younger to reinforce it every day. She doesn't pull. Do I need to move her off the harness? No, Sue. She's not. If it's not broke, don't fix it. The reality is, right, harnesses, you can absolutely teach your dog to walk properly. It becomes way harder than it needs to be. Yeah. The reality is with a slip lead or a halty or something like that, once you condition a dog to it, you can literally, the dog will be walking great in just one session. Yeah, that's why when people come to the training center, you'll see us focus on lead walking first, regardless of size, regardless of breed, regardless of issue. Yeah, and after that, they can start to walk past dogs, walk past people, walk past whatever it was they were struggling. Now, you can do it on a harness. It just takes way longer than it needs to be, and well done for you for doing it. No problem there. Anytime you're training your dog anyway, it's great for building your relationship and the confidence and everything between you. But harnesses make it way more difficult than it needs to be. But again, if your dog walks nicely on a harness, it's not reactive in any way, shape or form, then by all means, if it's not broke, don't fix it. What I will say is we've had a few dogs at the training center over the years that walk beautifully on a harness, but they're reactive. And what happens is, although they walk beautifully on the harness, when they're lunging, the harness doesn't give us the control to pop and or communicate effectively in those high-level situations. So we've had to put them on something that gives us more control. But again, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Have moved her onto raw food, now enjoying her meals and looking amazing. Yeah, one of the best things about raw food is you'll instantly notice an improvement in their coat, how soft it is, how shiny it is, how glossy it is. I love that. I do off-lead training 5 times a week in a closed park for my 2 young dogs. I want them to stay in a stay until I come back. What? With my 2 dogs, ages above... I don't know where their ages is. I want them to stay in a stay till I come back. Come back from where? Right, okay. I don't know exactly what you're saying because it's like trying to solve a crossword puzzle that I'm not very good at. But I'm going to talk about 2 things here, right? How do you get your dog to stay? Very simple. The reason dogs aren't very good at staying is because owners are inconsistent. Basically, take a cone, take a marker, use your poo bags, use something. You need some sort of marker. X marks the spot. Pop your dog on that spot. Yeah, if the dog comes off that spot, put the dog right back on that spot. If it comes off 10 times, you put them back 10 times. 15 times, back 15 times. You have to be calmer but more willful than that dog. When the dog is holding that position and you are happy, then you give it further instructions or release it. Now, that's how you get a stay. Easiest fucking thing in the world. You've just got to be more stubborn, consistent with it. Now, in terms of if you are practicing recall by getting your dogs to stay and then calling them to you, this will never, ever improve your recall, guys. Ever. Because that is not practicing recall. You are simply releasing your dog from a static position. I'm not saying don't practice it, because sit stays, down stays, at distance, yeah, they are beneficial. It's an exercise that everyone should practice. But if you're practicing that, asking your dog to sit, walking away and calling your dog to you, if you're practicing that, thinking that's recall, you're never going to get a decent recall. As soon as you go into the real world, outside of that enclosure, you're going to struggle. Why? Because recall, when we call our dogs, think about it. They're nearly always in front of us, looking at something, not us, and in motion. How often is the dog sitting there perfectly waiting for us to call it? Very rarely. Yeah. They are always going towards something when we want to call them. So you have to practice recall naturally. Having your dog on a long lead, waiting for their attention to be off of you, waiting for them to be going towards something, call them, use that lead, rein it in, moving backwards, encouraging them to come to you. And then you have to transfer that to many different areas around many different distractions. That's how you get a decent recall. You won't get a decent recall asking your dogs to sit, walking away and calling them to you. I put my American Bully in a crate every time we have visitors. The crate is inside the house. The dog parks tirelessly. That's because you keep putting your American Bully in the crate and it's stuck. It doesn't know what to do. Keep it on a lead. And watch the videos I did on the reactive Dachshunds that go mental when people come in the house. How using a lead versus putting them in the crate can help you massively. Right, ladies and gents, I am going to love you and leave you because we are going out for lunch and I am getting a little bit peckish. Everybody that gave us a thumbs up, you're amazing. If I didn't answer your question, I do apologise. I will never be able to answer every single person's question on here. But fear not, ladies and gents. We have a Southend dog training app. On that app, you can become a member, free for 7 days. One of the perks of being a member is you can ask as many questions as you like. There are people right now, as I'm on here, getting tailored advice for their dogs. There are people sending videos to my team to be broken down, to be given professional advice. If you want to have access to a trainer that you can ask questions anytime you're worried, anytime you're struggling, download that Southend Dog Training app. That is one way that I can guarantee every single person that asks a question, whether it's one question or 1,000 questions or more, will get an answer. On a live, I try my best, but I am only one human. Right? One human? I'm only one human. I'm not two.
Only one man.
I'm only one man. And with the online training group, which you can get through the Southend Dog Training app or through the website, on that, I have a whole team helping. If you haven't got it, guys, go and check it out. Take care. How do I end this one? There we go. End stream. Peace. Peace.